Hi there. It's June the 18th, and today we're continuing our journey through the Acts of the Apostles, written by Luke as a sequel to his Good News. And today we're in Acts chapter 12, and we're reading the whole of the chapter from verses 1 to 23. This chapter begins, and a lot of it actually revolves around the character of Herod. Herod, remember, is the king who wanted to see Jesus and who became friends with Pilate. Herod was actually a very controversial figure for the Jews. He wasn't a true Jew. He was something of a renegade. He was very friendly, very close to the Roman authorities, and therefore the Jewish leaders saw him very much as an outsider. And it seems as though Herod is trying to curry favour here with the Jewish leadership. And so in a very political move to try and keep them happy, he has James, first of all, James, the brother of John, one of the initial disciples of Jesus, he has him executed. And so here is the second martyrdom taking place among the people of Jesus. And then on top of that, he has Peter arrested and imprisoned. It happens to be the time of the Passover, and perhaps Herod is thinking this is the anniversary of the time of the crucifixion of Jesus, and therefore the people were particularly disturbed at this point and perturbed about the Christian presence, and so he imprisons Peter. While Peter is in prison awaiting trial after Passover, the angel of the Lord comes, and as he's done previously, the Lord releases Peter from his imprisonment miraculously. And Peter is led through the gates and goes to the house of Mary, the mother of John Mark, who is where the believers are gathered, and they're praying for Peter. Now, as Peter comes to the door, he knocks on the door, and a young woman called Rodi in Greek, or Rhoda we call her, but Rhoda comes to the door, and she can't believe what she's seeing, and she's quite scared. It's quite comical in a way what happens here, because she goes back to the meeting and says, Peter's at the door, and they say, oh, it can't be him, or maybe it's his ghost, they say. And Peter continues knocking, and so when they go to the door, they find Peter standing there, and it says that they were beside themselves. This amazing word they use is they were ecstatic when they saw Peter. But obviously Peter is now in danger because he's escaped from prison, and he is sent away so that he's not in the line of fire. When Herod, and we're back to Herod now, when Herod finds out that Peter has got away, he has the guards executed. This is a shocking development. Now we also find here that Saul and Barnabas have been still in Jerusalem through this time, and they return to Antioch, and they take with them John Mark, whose mother has held the meeting of prayer that we've just referred to. But lastly, in this chapter, we're again returning to Herod. Herod is in Caesarea Maritima, which is significant because remember that's the Roman hub of occupation, and Herod seems to hang out there quite happily, and he receives a delegation from Tyre and Sidon, which is the coastal area to the northeast of Israel. They've been having some disputes, and they have recruited an advocate in the form of an official called Blastus, and they come to Herod, and Herod makes a speech to them, and in what seems like blatant flattery in order to get what they want, they say that this is not a man speaking, this is the voice of a God. And Luke here recounts how Herod then dies of a terrible internal disease, internal happenings within him, and he's finished off, and that's the end of Herod. And what Luke seems to be saying is when you raise yourself up against God, you can expect consequences. He hadn't given God the glory for his reign. We see here God's power to save, even in the middle of terrible situations. James has been executed, but Peter is set free and lives to see another day and lives to tell the story of what's happened. These are real situations that the church is going through, but throughout it we see that they are holding on to God, they're rejoicing in God, they're seeing him do amazing things. Let us keep looking for God in our day to continue to do wonderful things. Have a very good June the 18th.